Right, we're not there yet, but I've done a bit of work. So I've got the big servo in there. Haven't connected it up or anything. I'm just physically making sure it can fit in there. I've trimmed out all the bits of plastic that were in there, so it does fit. But because we got the problem, somehow we got a link from there to there. Now, one thing I could do would be to 3D print a replacement for this piece. So measure that up, 3D print it, and have it so it comes out this way. And we could have the servo arm sticking up and pushing in a slot. Might work. Certainly worth 3D printing it to find out. So that's my next step. So at the moment, that is just laying in there while I can take some measurements and work out what we're going to do. What I'm thinking is if I trim that so it's just one piece sticking up, and then we have a slot for it to push backwards and forwards in. That with a sort of a fork bit coming out the front, so that can push it. It might work. If that doesn't work, then we have a bit of wire on there, push rod, to actually connect into there and push it backwards and forwards. So that's plan A at the moment. So I'll take some measurements there and work out a slot, a fork. A very rough sketch of what I want to end up with. Flat plate with this bit sticking out with a slot in it. I'll leave as much plastic there as possible to make it as strong as possible. I mean, I could just make it two forks sticking out like that, but that shape is to try and make it as strong as possible. So we'll go and draw that up on the Tinkercad and print it. Right, I've rigged it up temporary so we can see what I've done. I have squeezed the big servo in there. Drilled a hole in the end there so we can screw the servo arm in place. This is the bit I've printed. So that sits on there. And that will fit over there nicely. Oh, those bits have got to go over there, but before we can do that, you've got to try and get those metal pins out of there and get them into there. I think I've probably got to warm them up to get them to move. And it wouldn't surprise me if I have to drill that out a bit. I don't know, we'll find out. They actually came out with a little tap. Just gently tap them through. So, see if we can remember how it goes together. one of them. Just hope I've got enough clearance there. I'm not going to get... Well, we might be all right. There we are, that's what we're looking for. Okay, those go in there. That's going there, that goes over there. That comes out the back about there somewhere. That goes over there. That goes over there. That all goes in place. I don't know if I said I drilled a hole in there so we can put the screwdriver through to tighten up the screw that holds the servo arm in place, and I cut that out of the way just to make sure it didn't rub against the top. So if I just hold that, switch the power on, switch the power on, I think we might have slightly more left than right. Which would be right because I've got the servo over this way, so this can't travel that way as far as it should. The trouble is that going to be far enough? And there's also a little bit of slack in it, I think. It's not bad. Well, I'll put the screws in and put it back together and see if it works. There is a bit of slack now, yeah. In fact, if anything, I may have a bit of toe out there rather than toe in. Not a problem. I can reprint that blue piece again and move those pegs in just a touch. I may have them just a touch too far out. Don't know if you can see that. It looks like the wheels are pointing outwards, which will make the steering interesting. Alright, but we'll put it together and see what happens. Oh, we can't see what happens quite yet because I haven't sorted out a battery yet or a ESC. Ignore that one. That one's for the brushless motor, which I am not fitting at the moment. There's a rather large ESC there. Bit of overkill, that one, I think. Don't know how many amps that one is. It's not written on it. Big butch looking fella. And you look at the size of those wires to go to the motor, and the size of the wires that actually go to the motor, which are sort of less than half the diameter. So I really don't think we need one this big. In fact, I could probably get away with one of those little generic ones for now, just to give it a test. Alright, just got a little 2S lithium ion battery in there and the small ESC. So forwards, backwards. Still get wheel spin. but then we haven't got the body on there to hold it down. Steering. Yeah, I might have to adjust that to give us some toe in rather than toe out. I'll just pop the body shell on. Right, I haven't screwed it in place or anything, it's just sitting on top. So at least we've got proportional steering, proportional throttle and proportional steering. Right, okay, so that looks like it works that far. Like I said, I haven't screwed the body shell on. That's all just sitting there temporarily. What I want to do is sort out some sort of battery tray to go on the bottom here now, because that's missing. Originally it would have been probably an 8-cell, yeah, 8-cell, might be nickel metal hydride, might have been NiCad, might have just been ordinary. Yeah, it says there 8 AA alkaline batteries. But I reckon I can get a 3S, 3 18650s in there, lithium ion. So we'll make a tray to go in the bottom there. Decide what size ESC we're going to use, because that's going to be too small if we're going to bump it up to 3S. But then again, like I said, the wires that are feeding the motor, and I was running it on a 3S, well 8 times 1.5 is 12 volts, isn't it? So it was running on 12 volts originally. So the motor should handle 12 volts. Just have to look, see what sort of ESC I can use. So I'm not entirely happy with that steering. We might let it run for a while, but I might print another one just with the pins slightly closer together, so that at the moment that looks to me like those, I mean there is slop in them anyway, but that looks to me like they're pointing outwards when they ought to be pointing in just a touch. And they do that just with the amount of slop in the steering. Maybe just best to, because I did measure very carefully, and those pins, as far as I'm concerned, are exactly where the old ones were. So that should be right. We'll see. There will be another episode. At least one more. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check down below in the video description. If you like this video, you might like this one up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can check out my channel over here. Up here is my latest video on my channel, and down here is a video playlist associated with the video you've just watched. Thanks again for watching.